Dear friends, in the last class, that is lecture 2, I wanted to complete arbitration and conciliation, two topics. In lecture 1, dear student friends, let me introduce myself as Raga Surya Rao, Principal, Retired Aided Law College, Fulton, Satara District, Maharashtra. I have been delivering lectures online for the last 2 years. 2 years so far I have delivered 109 lectures, 110 lectures covering 17 subjects. So in the last I have delivered 2 classes. In first lecture 1, alternative dispute resolution system, I explained in brief about 8 categories of alternative dispute resolution mechanism, namely arbitration, conciliation, lok adalats, consumer redressal agencies, fast track courts, industrial tribunals, Settlement Machinery and Industrial Dispute Act 1947, section 3 to 7b, and thereafter I ombudsman and administrative tribunals. We 8 concepts I explained in brief. In second lecture, last lecture, I wanted to complete arbitration and conciliation in detail, but nearly 75% of the topic I have covered. But before completing the remaining 125%, my cell phone was switched off, because it gets switched off after 1 hour 6 minutes, and the remaining portion I will take up conciliation. What is conciliation? I have already told you. Now I wish to take a repeat once again. Conciliation, section part 3, section 61 to 81 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act speaks about conciliation. This old Arbitration Act 1940, domestic arbitration, international commercial arbitration, 2 acts were covered. There were 3 acts dealing with domestic arbitration and international commercial arbitration. Conciliation Act was not covered, but these 3 acts were abolished. In the 3 acts, Arbitration Act 1940 and other through international commercial acts, the 3 acts were abolished, and in that place Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 was passed. So in this Arbitration Act, Part 1 contains 10 chapters. Part 1 contains 10 chapters. These 10 chapters deal with domestic arbitration. Part 2 contains 2 chapters, and there were 3 schedules at the end of the section. Part 2 containing 2 chapters and 3 schedules deal with international commercial arbitration. Part 3 contains 61 to 81, lay down various provisions relating to conciliation. I am repeating conciliation once and again. Conciliation is one of the alternative dispute resolution machinery. Conciliation is one of the processes by which a dispute between 2 parties can be settled outside the court. So it is there won't be any clause. Conciliation is not, it is only pre-litigation matter. It is not pre-litigation process, not post-litigation process. In arbitration, in agreement, arbitration clause may be there. When accordingly the arbitration takes place. When the case is pending in the court, in the middle of the case, the parties may request the court to refer the matter to arbitration. That is, the post-litigation case also may be there. But conciliation is not there. There is no case pending. When the dispute takes place, the parties come to a come to an understanding to settle the dispute through a third person. So then when parties wish to settle their matter outside the court, because going to court is not only expensive but also there will be lengthy procedure. In order to avoid a lengthy procedure, and unnecessary expensive, the conciliation is resorted to, for there won't be any court fee and everything. The parties can look for some conciliator, one man or two men or three person. If one conciliator is there, both parties should agree for that. Two conciliators are there, one party option one conciliator, second other party option is second conciliator. If third conciliator is there, the third conciliator must be acceptable to both the parties. He will act as a presiding conciliator. So the conciliation, the word conciliate means to bring the opponents to harmony. So when there are two opposite parties claiming rival rights, opposite rights, so they want to, both the parties with opposite interest must be convinced and put into an harmony. Put into harmony means amicable settlement or peaceful settlement. That is the person or persons who bring two opposite disputant parties come to an amicable solution. They are called conciliators. The process is called conciliation. Section 64 of the 64 of the Arbitration Conciliation Act speaks about appointment of conciliators. So both the parties, when the parties want to appoint conciliator, the power of appointment of conciliator is in the hands of parties. The parties under section 64 of the 1996 Act are competent to appoint the conciliator. The conciliator may be some legal professional or some technical personnel. What is their requirement? What is their subject matter? What is the nature of interest in their subject matter? Whether it is a legal matter or a technical matter or anyway, either he must be a legal professional or a technical professional, or that person, or they may directly approach the person to act as conciliator. Sometimes they don't find a proper source to appoint conciliator. They will approach some professional institute to provide conciliator. One conciliator or two conciliator or three. When one third conciliator is there, the third conciliator will act as presiding, and that third conciliator will act as a presiding officer. So this is the position of appointment. So the number of conciliators according to section 3 must be 1 or 2 or 3. If third one is there, so when conciliation proceedings is there, the conciliator will meet both the parties separately or jointly. He will fix a place for what are the formalities or evidences, examination, cross-examination. Such lengthy formalities are not necessary in conciliation. Both the parties have an option to appoint the conciliator. They can drop the conciliation proceedings in the middle. When once they both are agree to solution given by the conciliator, they can acknowledge that decision by conciliator. They will acknowledge the whatever decision, whatever solution given by conciliator. Conciliator gives any solution, that solution is accepted to both the parties. To that effect, a declaration is prepared and both the parties will sign it, and then the conciliator will take will quit. And if even after that also, since it is not binding, if at the time of conclusion the parties may agree, subsequently one party may not agree to execute that, then the conciliation proceeding stands cancelled, and they will go to fresh proceeding. Either they may approach arbitration or file a case in court of law. So that is why in the course of conciliation proceeding, if the conciliators want any administrative assistance or other technical legal assistance, they can take the assistance by paying necessary costs. The conciliator will provide some administrative assistance, maybe any some assistant or some any documents or everything. Section 68 provides for the administrative assistance to this. And after that, if both the parties after conciliation proceedings are there, section 73 speaks about settlement agreement. After conciliation proceedings are over, as per both the parties are discuss, the conciliator will act as a bridge between both the parties, and he will negotiate both the parties, and ultimately he will propose the best amicable solution. Whatever he proposes, after hearing both the parties, if the solution proposed by conciliator or conciliators is amicable to both the parties, then an agreement to that effect will be prepared. Then both the parties will agree. If agree, they will sign it. That agreement is binding on is final and binding on both the parties. So otherwise, then the conciliator will authenticate such agreement and furnish copy to each other. When both the parties agree, and both the parties will sign, and the conciliator will give a copies of that stamped copies to each parties. And so then once both parties to agree what is the value of arbitral award, the same value will be there. But arbitral award is final and binding. It cannot be repudiated or avoided. But even if both parties agreed, and this conciliation agreement is authenticated to both the parties, subsequently either a party may set aside it and deny it. When once it is not approved, it can be fresh. The case will be fresh. The parties may go to arbitration or file a case in appropriate court of law. So whatever conciliation proceedings took place, they must be strict confidentiality must be maintained. Secrecy must be maintained. When once whatever proceedings took place in conciliation, when subsequently it is not acceptable to the parties do not arrive at an agreement, and whatever is negotiated between both the parties, what are the information furnished, these things should not be used as evidence subsequently. If they subsequently they go to arbitral tribunal, or if they subsequently go to civil court or high court, and these things cannot be allowed. But whatever proceedings took place in arbitral tribunal, they will be used as evidence in subsequent court cases. So this is what is called. If the parties do not like, even if amicable solution is done, subsequently parties want to cancel that agreement authenticated by conciliator, either one party or both the parties, either by signing an agreement or by a written letter, can cancel or repudiate this conciliation agreement. So these are the various things. Next one is if the matter is not acceptable, conciliation agreement once agreed but subsequently repudiated, and then subsequently they may resort to court of law or arbitration under section 77 of this. Section 78 speaks about costs. So whatever it may be, even though the conciliation proceedings are comparatively very cheap, some expenses will be involved. For these expenses, some amount is to be deposited with the conciliator for expenses, and subsequently incidental expenses will take place. So what all the expenses are there, the expenses are to be borne by equal by both the parties, sometimes by one party or in different proportionality. One party may bear more, or some other party may bear less. It will depend upon the circumstances. In the absence of agreement to the contrary, both the parties must bear the expenses equally. So before conciliation proceedings are started, both the parties are required to pay some advance, keep some advance with the conciliator for conciliation proceeding. So these are the various so these whatever is taken up in these things should not be treated as conciliation. Whatever proceedings took place, cannot be used as evidence in subsequent cases regarding conciliation. So arbitration is failed, whatever things took place, they can be used as evidence. So now we wish to take up what is arbitration, what is conciliation. Arbitration is arbitration. What is arbitration? Emerges from a particular agreement, either from agreement between the parties or by subsequent dispute, or the matter is lying in the court, the arbitration takes place. But conciliation, the parties do not enter into an agreement that the matter will be settled by agreement. So when the dispute comes, then they will think of it to go for conciliation, whether they want to go for conciliation or arbitration or court of law, they will decide. So the conciliation will come out of oral or written agreement of the parties. That is conciliation. So that is why arbitration is pre-litigation matter and post-litigation matter. So pre-litigation matter means when parties enter into an agreement, legally binding agreement, in agreement they may write that if in the event of any dispute, the matter should be settled by arbitration. The name of the arbitration also may be mentioned. It may not be mentioned. So when the dispute takes place, the matter should be done accordingly. Or even setting aside the arbitration clause, they may directly go to court. Either of the party may go to court, and the court may tell, either the court may hear or the court may direct, in your agreement you have put arbitration clause, you go to arbitration and then come. It may tell. So that is why arbitration proceeding are pre-litigation or post-litigation. Before going to court, arbitration takes place, or after going to court also, the court will transfer the case to arbitrator. The post-litigation is there, but conciliation is not there. Conciliation comes into picture after dispute takes place. If the parties' agreement is completed peacefully, if there is no dispute, no conciliation. When once the dispute takes place, the parties may think, instead of going to arbitration tribunal and mediation or any court, it will be not only expensive but also lengthy procedure. Better we settle this matter than it is also. So that is the arbitrator's decision. The judgment of arbitration tribunal is equal to the judgment of the court. It may be a decree or order of the court, or it may be dismissal. It must be binding. It must be binding. If it is a compulsory arbitration, irrespective of the consent of the parties, the judgment given by, the award given by arbitration, it is binding and compulsory. But the conciliation proceedings are not binding and compulsory. In the middle of the proceedings, either of the party may withdraw it or terminate it. So here when once arbitration proceedings takes place and both parties agree for that, when in arbitration, one party, when the matter is in before the court of law pending before the court, one party may, with the permission of the court, will ask the other party, will give a notice of 30 days to come to a settlement through arbitration. If the other party will agree, that will be communicated to the court. When both parties agree to that, the court will take into consideration the other relevant documents and procedure. If the court finds it is proper, the court will refer the matter to the arbitration. That is there. But here, when the matter is, when once the matter is decided and arbitral proceedings takes place, in the middle the parties cannot repudiate or terminate the arbitral proceedings. But when conciliator is appointed and proceedings are taking place, the conciliator is negotiating both the parties for an amicable solution. In the middle, one party can withdraw from that and terminate. Arbitration proceedings, whatever evidences and other documents produced in arbitration proceeding, if arbitration is failed, subsequently they go to court and appropriate court or high court. Whatever is presented arbitrary tribunal can be used as an evidence in subsequent proceedings. But whatever confidential proceedings take place, they are strictly confidential. They cannot be used as this thing. So these are the various things, dear friends, regarding arbitration and conciliation. Dear friends, I have completed a very important subject, that is Arbitration, conciliation and alternative dispute resolutions is very very important subject. Not only lawman but also layman must have knowledge about this, because we should know. We think that all cases are tried in courts, but everybody should know not only courts deciding the cases, but also there are so many quasi judicial authorities deciding the cases. What are those quasi judicial authorities? What cases they are deciding? How they are deciding? What is their status? What is this thing? So any simply think that if any dispute is there, we should go to court. We have to pay a fee, lot of fee to lawyer, lot of fee to court and all the thing. That is not correct. Even without any payment of fee, for the protection of poor people and weaker sections also, different courts are there with less fee expenditure. In arbitration, when once the court pending case is referred to arbitration, whatever fee paid by the parties will be refunded. So in conciliation is cheap. In mediation also, in mediation the court maintain a mediation center and encourage the parties to get their problems settled in mediation through mediator. So many things are there. That is why, dear friends, I sincerely request you, as and when my lecture is published, I humbly request you to sacrifice your most valuable time, just 1 hour in 2 or 3 days. You just watch my video in earphone and forget about it, and as and when you require, you download it or get it done. You will be useful to you. Watch all my videos and decide your knowledge. So you can get anything without hard work, but knowledge you can never acquire. No one can acquire knowledge without hard work, because I am today, I have nearly 35 years of teaching experience. I have written law books on so many subjects. I am a visiting teacher. So many things I have done. So many papers I have done. So many papers I have, thousands of papers I evaluated, and number of subjects I did paper setting, including research. But I promise that, in spite of that my previous experience, when once I take up a new chapter for preparation, I am acquiring knowledge fresh. More than 50% I don't know. In first lecture, arbitration, ADR system, first lecture 8. In spite of all this, I don't know in detail about all of them 100%. Most of the I learnt something. In second lecture and third lecture today, I am able to learn something, because if you read any book, my book or any other book, the best book of the author, after reading that, you should require latest development. For that latest development, you should take latest Bayer Act. Even latest Bayer Act also are not up-to-date developments not available. Then you have to check the Google. In Google, one section, one point, number of writers will be there. There will be number of articles. When you open Google and you speak about section 89, there is a very big lot of volume is there. So there are so many researchers, they are doing research on just one section. Article 21, one PhDs are submitted, theses are submitted of 500 pages to 1000 pages. So it is very, very, very difficult to know something about one subject. So people may say I am expert, I am this or that. No, you just see, as and when you All India Reporter comes to your table as your subscriber, for that number of judgments will be there. Division benches, full benches judgments in one subject. So many subjects are attracted. In a judgment, we are studying subjects separately. When once you read the judgment of one of one case, so many subjects are involved, so many new points. In majority opinion will be there, dissenting opinion will be there. There may be 9 judges, 3 judges give dissenting opinion, 6 judges give majority opinion. The majority opinion will be finding. there are so many controversies take place, conflicting opinions take place. So that is why the judges in interpretation, there are so many dimensions will take place. All these things you will be able to know in course of time. Dear friends, after your LLB, I am sincerely telling you, like your well-wisher or some uncle, you watch each and every lecture of mine before going to court. When once you joined court, you won't be able to spare any time. Your senior will give you full work. So in which area? Suppose you are dealing in arbitration you will concentrate. You do not, arbitration is not a small thing, it is not a matter of 86 section subject. There will be 80,000 books may be there in arbitration if you deeply take. So it's not a joke. There are the innumerable number of books and literature will be there. And you are in civil case, you don't look at criminal. But if you are in criminal side, you don't look at civil. So there way, in which area, in service matters, labor law matters. When once you join as a junior with senior advocate, in which area your senior is expert, in that area you will try to develop and try to read more and more books in that area. But suppose you are a student, you could not take could not attend classes regularly, you could not have more knowledge, you find it very difficult. At that time you cannot read IPC or CRPC, CPC, everything separately. So at that time it is very difficult for you to spare more time, because you are shouldered with a lot of responsibility in court work. You cannot learn anything. So that is why after last day of examination, LLB final year, you take rest for 1 week, enjoy, and then you watch my each and every video before going to court. Before going to court, you get a overall idea about all my lectures. Your what will be your position, you just think it of what you could learn. Suppose you are if you are not a if you did not study LLB in highly prestigious institution where attendance is very compulsory, mandatory, and classes take place more than 5 hours, 8 hours, qualitative teaching institutions are there, okay. Otherwise, where the classes do not take place, or you may not be able to class, you could manage to get degree by doing reading day and night before exam. Then I sincerely tell you, watch my channel and then find the difference. So it may be, one may be able to get to the degree, one may be able to earn more money, one out of luck and had faith, one may become a rich man, one may become a qualified man, even qualified man by luck with simple efforts. To become a man of knowledgeable man, hard work is very essential, mandatory, sine qua non. If you want to know more knowledge, you must read, you must have patient hearing. Without patient hearing, without hard working, nobody will be able to acquire more knowledge. This is my sincere advice. To getting degree is different, to shine in a profession is different, to acquire knowledge, but for hard work, nobody in this universe will be able to acquire knowledge. This is must. This is must. He may be in legal profession, he may be in medical professional, he may be in technical for engineering professional, any profession. So work hard, learn more, learn more. Basically, when you are a lawyer, you must have patient hearing, you must cultivate the habit of patient hearing, attend classes regularly. And if you do not have patient hearing to my classes, you cannot have patient hearing in regular classes. When I am placing before you one subject in 5 to 8 hours, you won't be able to spare 50 to 80 hours in classroom. And with this knowledge, you won't be able to remain in court hall whole day. So I sincerely tell you, work hard, come up in life. I sincerely, honestly request you. I am extremely grateful to my student friends for their subscription. You reached me to 2600 subscribers. If out of 2600 subscribers, at least 50%, 1300 subscribers watch my channel immediately after publication, I will be very happy. I will be very happy, dear friends. So just let me pray God give me bless me with good health for long time. Now my opinion is, so far I have given 111 lectures. By the time I complete 200 lectures, nearly 30 subjects tentatively I will cover. Then one more 100 lectures, I will revise lectures and complete almost all. Every topic is available. And if still God gives me strength and energy, I have inclination to complete up to 500 lectures. In case I will be able to, God bless me with enough strength and health. When once I complete 500 lectures, it will be very useful to students, not only LLB students, but also to CA, ICWA, ACS, Judicial Officer exam and other competitive exams also. Gradually I will improve the standard. Now I am giving lectures keeping in mind the requirement of average students. Suppose when once, because my matter 1 hour 6 minutes 50 seconds is not enough. Sometimes cell phone is getting switched off. Suppose if it continues 2 hours, I will give one lecture. But whether the student will be able to have patience or not, I am helpless, because I am taking very giant project. It is inevitable and incompatible to, if you want to learn a number of subjects, it is compulsory. If you are unable to have patient hearing for 1 hour 6 minutes, 15 minutes 3-4 times you can watch, no problem. Now what I tell is, nearly one lecture is published in 2 or 3 days. So to spend 1 hour in 2 or 3 hours, 3 days, that is 50 to 60, 70 hours, it is easy. If you do it, it will be easy. I can do it later, you say, after when once you postpone watching lecture. If you don't like my lecture, there is no problem, you forget about it. When once you are interested to watch my lecture and postpone it, at a time 100 and more than 100 lectures, you cannot watch. It will be very tedious, mental torture will come. Continuous lectures of so many hours, it will be mental agony will start. So that is not correct. 2-3 days, one lecture enough. Another thing, dear friends, don't hesitate. What is there, Raga Surya? Why should we lecture? So, I am ready to consider any one of you as my guru, touch your feet and learn from you. If you teach me, he may be a junior most student, or junior most lecturer, or junior most advocate. He is expected to do many things what I do not know. When once I want to know anything, he may be my student, he may be my colleague's son. I learn from him. When once I want, I don't have any hesitation. So I sincerely tell you, advocates can watch my channel, listen to me. They will, you just let it be any advocate, watch my lecture. Some new points they will be able to know. Even lecturers watch my lecture and earphone. Some points they do not know. If they know, have a lot of comment over the subject, some of the points I covered, they do not know. They will get it. Their knowledge will be improved. Strictly speaking, teachers, well-matured persons, advocate students or children, they do not have proper maturity. They will, my students who watched my lecture so tentatively, when if they repeat the lecture in as an advocate after becoming lecturer, or even after becoming young judicial officer, if they find time watch, then they will realize the importance of my lecture. They will be able to receive this thing. So even students working in prestigious institutions, national law school, my lecture is nothing for them. They have very good standard. In first instant, they watch my lecture once and leave it off. They will be able to receive excellently in lecture, high standard lecture in classroom. They will be able to pick out a high standard book. They can comfortably excel. I also suggest even national law school students also don't underestimate my lectures. So you may be great in English language in subject your children. You watch my channel first, then attend your classes in national law school, then pick up high standard books. How you will be, how easily you will be able to catch the information from your teacher, how easily you will be able to extract information from high standard books prescribed in your national law school. You just imagine. Dear friends, thank you very much for your this thing. Please my watch my lectures, because friends, there may be in YouTube we are putting, they may put advertisements or something. If it goes to lakh, all these things, if when once it goes to lakhs and millions, I may get 1 rupee, but I don't think I get any. I am doing this job. If I get it is lucky, it is good, but basically without expecting any remuneration I am doing this. If you all cooperate and views will be more, if I get a single rupee after a long time, so I have no any problem. It's all your blessings, I can consider. It's all your cooperation, because I have written so many law books, but the remuneration I received is just very casual charge. It is when compared to my salary, it was not even 5% of my salary. So it was not even 10% of my income tax, just like examination work. So I am doing this. Let us do something. Let us do something. I want that I should be useful to some in some way. So this is don't care a pin of the words. If anybody speaks anything wrong about my lectures, I am taking the lecture very serious. I am referring all sources and delivering the lectures. Strictly speaking, until and unless I deliver lecture, I do not have knowledge of 100% of my lecture. Before preparation, I did not know all the points. After preparation, I myself acquiring some knowledge. If you, as an youngster, law student, a junior advocate, junior just fresh law teacher, listens to my lecture, your knowledge will be good, because my lectures are in hours. My lectures are in hours. My lectures are subjects wise. My lectures are for so many law subjects and will be for almost all the law subjects. I am extremely sorry that I won't be able to deliver lecture in local language or Hindi. I cannot speak fluently Hindi, that is one thing. I won't be able to give lecture in 10 to 20 minutes, because the project I am taking is a giant project of 30 subjects. In fact, in one subject, one chapter, there is a innumerable volume, unbounded volume of literature is there. Just you verify one section in CPC, the literature will be voluminous. Just you touch your cell phone and verify how many articles will be there on a single topic. There you will find many use if you want to study one small concept in the internet, whole day is not enough. You will have innumerable number of articles by lawyers, judges, national law school students, researchers and everything. So it is never, nobody should think that I know everything. There is no need to think. We don't know anything. Strictly speaking, we are all learners forever. We are all learners forever. We won't be able to learn anything in full. Even a small piece of subject, nobody will be able to learn in fullest length. Thank you very much, dear friends. Please cooperate me. Please make use of my lectures and communicate to your friends. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.